What you're witnessing are the first signs of a project that's been a decade in the making.
So I want to welcome you. This is actually what we are working towards too. I'm really excited.
For the last 10 years, Margaret Kenny-Quinosh has been working tirelessly to connect 17 remote First Nations communities in northwestern Ontario to the power grid. Today she's in Pikangikum First Nation for what promises to be a turning point for the entire region.
Today, seeing the actual fruition of that work, particularly when I saw the participants of the training program sitting here, I thought that was a real example of this project becoming a reality.
Beginning in early 2018, this northern Ojibwe community will see construction begin on a 117-kilometer transmission line that will connect it to Ontario's power grid for the first time. It's the first step in the larger First Nations-led 1,800-kilometer project known as Wataynikaneyap Power.
The first time I came here and I heard the stories about their situation from the elders, I made a personal commitment that I would like to see this community connected as early as possible.
Today, 24 members of the community are taking part in a skills training program. Everything from resume writing and chainsaw maintenance and operation to first aid training. Dean Gaishan from PowerTel has been tasked with building the line.
We got our marching orders, we got our direction, get it done. Chief Dean Owen said, just get it done. This is the biggest thing that's going to happen in this country in the next 20 years.
These will be the first local hires when work begins to extend the grid to Pikangikum. This clearly isn't any ordinary transmission project.
It's about becoming visionaries for our own people, our future generation, at the same time taking control of our destiny.
The Pikangikum Power Line project finally got off the ground in the summer of 2017 when the federal government announced funding for the 117-kilometer line.
The Government of Canada is investing, today we're announcing, up to $60 million to bring safe, reliable electrical power to Pikangikum.
Pikangikum joined Wataynikaneyap Power back in 2016, an unprecedented transmission project led by 22 First Nations that have partnered with Fortis Ontario to bring much-needed power to northwestern Ontario.
This funding announcement is a major step forward for Pikangikum as the project now changes from the development to the construction stage.
Government and First Nations are now coming together, and it's just the beginning.
Today's a really good announcement because the federal government is finally coming to the table with something significant, and it's been a long time coming.
One of our elder advisors tells us that this is a reconciliation project, and it could be a reconciliation project.
We've had bad experience with government before, and we like to put that all behind us, and it does represent a new beginning for the community, for our youth.
The project couldn't come soon enough. Living conditions in Pikangikum are unacceptable, with people living in run-down, overcrowded houses because new houses can't be built or hooked up to the local distribution lines due to capacity limitations of the generator.
It's kind of difficult, like raising kids in this community, like being on welfare and stuff like that, because it's getting hard. Like it's hard to getting a job around here. A lot of people in this community looking for a job.
Like everyone else in the community, Coreyton hopes the new transmission line will not only bring him a job, but secure his children's future.
Hopefully we'll get a lot of things when the grid line starts, like running water for elders and stuff like that.
It's pretty sad to see that, especially if these are your own people. But I'm hoping that will all change now.
Those kids deserve a chance, same as every child here in this country. So if we put a proper infrastructure in place for them, at least they may have a fighting chance.
I don't think many people really understand what's happening in their own back doors.
For the past 16 years, Kurt McRae has been a teacher and principal in Pikangikum, giving him a unique perspective on how a lack of reliable energy affects everything in the community, from infrastructure, education, and food security to mental and physical health.
We'd be at school in the morning getting ready and getting prepared to start our day, and all of a sudden we'd lose power. Loss of electricity, power during the day was one of the major factors in terms of school closures. So this is going to be huge for the kids and the community to be able to have consistent power.
And for teachers as well.
Last year, in those 7 days when the power ran out, I was actually living here in my classroom. I had my bed set up here. It's funny, but it wasn't funny at the time because it was cold. It would get cold at night. So I had my bed right here. And I would work from home. This was my home.
These types of problems are common throughout the region and are all too familiar to Margaret Kenny-Quinosh.
Hey, how are you?
With a reasonable funding framework from government for the larger Wataynikaneyap project still outstanding, some communities have decided to take matters into their own hands. Today, she's visiting Big Trout Lake, or KI for short, and Wataynikaneyap First Nation, two neighboring communities that are connecting and upgrading their generators with a 26-kilometer tie line that will allow them to share power.
This initiative here is a community initiative between two communities, but I think that it is going to be an example to the other communities in terms of the work that will be involved as we bring the rest of the transmission line in, along with the work that's happening in Pikangikum. And so yes, it's starting to become a reality.
Chief James Cutfeet from Big Trout Lake explains.
It buys us time, and right now, as it stands, we're under a power restriction, meaning that we can't hook any additional infrastructure or houses for that matter. The tie line for us is a precursor to being hooked up to the bigger project, the Watay grid.
For Craig Senewap from Big Trout Lake, one of the line crew doing some of the brush cutting, it's about building a future.
I got 3 little ones. I'm all for it because I'm gonna need a house at some point, and I gotta create a solid foundation for me and my family.
Now we just need the both levels of government to come on side and get that funding framework in place ASAP, because otherwise we're going to have a missed opportunity here.
For many, it's now no longer a question of if these remote First Nations communities will ever get connected to the grid. It's a question of when.
You can see the incredible pride they have in seeing this thing move forward, and I can see that glimmer of hope in many of the other communities that Wataynikaneyap has as partners. And this is definitely a lot of eyes on this project right now.
But within our area here, there's 21 other communities that are anxiously waiting the same opportunity that we're having right now. And that's my hope, to see these other communities shut dirty diesel down and quit polluting our lands.
For her part, Minister Bennett is emphatic. The 117-kilometer line is only just the beginning.
This was a priority for this community, but for the region. The region felt that to make this first step of Pikangikum was a very significant gesture in terms of how do we show that we're serious about really the future of this whole region.
There's going to be opportunities created for our future generation. There's so much tragic situations in our communities, and I believe that if we create opportunities and create hope foundations for our young ones, that it's not just about bringing a line in. Yeah, it's to save our people.